Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined along by my co-host, Jake Fromm. Be sure to follow us on social media. We are at Punt and Pass on X and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at Fromm Jake. Puntandpass.com, the number one destination for all things college football. And special shout out, Jake, to our YouTube channel right now,
Let's
which
go.
is just going bonkers. So thanks so much to our awesome producer, Jared Rowland, who throws all these up onto YouTube. Thank you for subscribing as well. I think it's a good mix of some of the video and the audio that we pull up, Jake. I think it's some of the good stuff with the visuals that we're providing as well. Punt and Pass YouTube channel, rocking and rolling. How are you, my man?
Yeah, man, doing good. Super excited to talk about the college football playoff scenarios, man.
Yes.
It is just, it's getting down to the nitty gritty, right? When we have 2 weeks left of the regular season, and it just gets fun. It gets interesting. You start talking about all the different scenarios. It's getting real. College football could not be more fun right now.
No, it's that time of year, man, and Thanksgiving is a week away, which is my favorite week of the year. I'm excited. You mentioned the college football playoff rankings. They came out on Tuesday night, and you and I, when we jumped on this stream to start the show, we almost started doing the show in the bullpen. We got so fired up, and that's an old rule that my buddy Steak Shapiro sent to me when I do radio with him in Atlanta. When we get fired up, he's like, save it, man. Save it for the show. So we just fired up the link, and we are ready to go. An interesting week in college football. It's week 13. It's like the de facto bye week in the SEC. Kind of weird. We'll talk about that. A lot of schools in past years have scheduled those cupcake games right before the final week of the regular season, where they play a lot of rivalries in the SEC and cross-conference with some ACC opponents as well. So we will dig into that. It's Senior Day in Athens coming up this weekend. They are playing Charlotte. We will dive into that as they have wrapped up their SEC schedule. And then some other things. Lane Kiffin. What's going on with Lane Kiffin? He has definitely dominated the news around college football for the past week or so. So we have a bunch to get into. How's that new baby doing, Jake?
Man, baby's doing good. Getting more sleep, I would say, than expected.
Okay.
So man, all is well in our world, and could not be happier, man. Living the dream.
So what do you do? Because I mean, I've had 3 children, and in the early days, there's really not much the dad can do.
That's what I'm saying. I should be asking you, like, hey, what did you do? I mean, right now, this is number 2. We've been through it with one. I mean, kind of, especially early in the middle of the night, like, hey, I mean, am I going to get up to, help change a diaper? And I mean, there's no reason to.
Yeah.
And so then all my responsibilities and duties now get turned to the older one, Luke.
Right.
And so if he wakes up in the middle of the night, hey, that's my job now. And so trying to take more off her plate when it comes to Luke and give her pretty much cold 100%.
Yeah, I would say, just offer help. Hey, how can I help? Now, would you like me to wake up with you every 2 hours in the middle of the night? Do you need me to get anything ready for you in the middle of the night? But probably most importantly, because there's really nothing you can do, is you get your rest. And then when Luke wakes up in the morning, just take him.
Gotta be ready.
Just take Luke, and mom can keep resting. She can keep tending to the baby. That would be my professional advice. If that's
I like that. I'd say for the most part we're pretty much doing that. But
Nice.
always a good reminder. And man, Luke's at the age where you better bring your A game and bring your juice, because he's ready to roll all the time, 24/7.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to you guys again. A lot of comments on the YouTube video from last week. Some people are asking when the boys will commit to the University of Georgia. It's a little far out, but they want to know, Jake. I
don't know. I mean, by the time they're old enough, I mean, we may be, colleges may start offering kids in elementary school.
You're not kidding. You are not kidding whatsoever. Awesome times. It'll be a fun Thanksgiving in the Fromm household for sure. Hey, this episode of Punt and Pass is presented to you by our awesome partners over at PrizePicks. That's right. And if you have not checked out PrizePicks in the last week, you are missing out. It's probably the biggest update to the best daily fantasy sports platform in the country. You can now do team and culture picks on PrizePicks. That is correct. They signed a huge partnership. So you go in there now. Usually you do player picks. You click which picks you want to do. You can go to teams, and now you can predict the outcomes of games. That's right. It's available in 15 states. Culture picks are available in 38 states. PrizePicks is now undoubtedly undoubtedly the best daily fantasy sports platform. I've been telling you that for 8 years now, and they are absolutely crushing it. Download the PrizePicks app, use the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT, and when you play your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly in your account, win or lose. The DB three-piece smacked last week. Yes, we're back on track. I love PrizePicks. You love PrizePicks. Tell a family member, tell a friend. No better time to be on PrizePicks than Thanksgiving week. Use the promo code PUNT, instant $50 when you play your first $5 entry. And today's episode of Punt and Pass is brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. If you've been hurt in an accident and need a team that fights for you like we fight on the field, Humberto Injury Law is here for you. Humberto and his team know what it takes to win, and they'll stand by your side every step of the way. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com today to learn more, or call them 770-888-8901, 770-888-8901, HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. All right, Jake. Georgia gearing up for Senior Day in Athens at 12:45 p.m. kickoff time. This game is on SEC Network. They welcome in Charlotte. The Charlotte 49ers are coming to Athens, and most notably, Georgia's SEC schedule is done. They finished with one loss in conference, of course, that being to Alabama when they lost by 3 points at home in late September. Still waiting to see what happens with Alabama and Texas A&M for SEC championship game implications. Next week, Texas A&M goes to Texas and Alabama goes to Auburn. If either one of them lose, Georgia will be in the SEC championship game. Of course, Georgia plays Georgia Tech next week. It will be a short week. That kickoff is at 3:30 p.m. in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I need to ask you before we dive into the game.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this late season SEC quote-unquote bye week? A lot of teams have scheduled cupcake games before rivalry week. It seems like they kind of got bullied into scheduling the 9-game SEC schedule, which goes into effect next season. But I've been seeing a lot of national media really giving the SEC a hard time for this. And to that, I just look right at the top 25 rankings and say, hey, look, come play in the SEC, see what it's like week to week. It's okay if you get one of these games later on in the season.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you got to kind of think about and go back of like why these games, why these weeks have the inception that they did. Well, one, it was to give yourself a break and a rest for the rivalry week, the following week. And then two, I feel like Senior Day has kind of lost its luster a little bit. You know, back in the day, I mean, that was a bigger deal, man. You throw guys out there that didn't quite get a ton of game reps and let them kind of have a good last ride, to play and just have an awesome experience to kind of finish out their time and as a way to tribute and say thank you. So that's kind of why that these games are slated where they are. Personally, I mean, I think there's a lot of good in that, and I think this is something that even if they do go to 9 games, I see that this week still trying to be this week, and you would just try to move an SEC scheduled game up one.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, so many people, Big Ten fans, Big 12 fans, ACC fans, everybody loves to point at the SEC and say, why do they get this preferential treatment? Why is the media bias there? Kirk Herbstreit was on his podcast with Joey Galloway earlier this week, and he said, like, look, I've been doing this for 30 years. Look at who the NFL drafts. Look at who some of the best players in the NFL are. Oftentimes, they're from the SEC. Look at who the national champions have been. Yes, the Big Ten is on a great run. And then Kirk Herbstreit said, I get so much, hate on social media or wherever it may be for having SEC bias, like I'm getting paid by the SEC. He goes, dude, just last year, the ESPN got SEC football. Like, I've been talking about this forever. I've never gotten any financial backing from the SEC to push up or promote their product. It just is what it is. So I would say, like, look at the teams, the top 10 teams Georgia's had to play. Look at the losses Texas has had. Look at the gauntlet that Alabama ran through before they fell short to Oklahoma last week. Like, you are playing tough games in hard road environments against top-ranked teams week after week after week. If you get a cupcake game later in the season, I actually commend Greg Sankey and Mike Slive and Roy Kramer, the commissioners before them, who have set the schedule up like this, because it allows those teams to kind of take a deep breath before the postseason push. So sorry, everybody. That's the way it is. Charlotte is coming to town. Georgia is a prohibitive favorite. Right now, they are laying 43.5 points against
43
Charlotte. I don't think Kirby Smart has ever covered a spread over 38 points in his tenure at Georgia. We'll get to that later on in the show. But look, it's a great week to celebrate this senior class. Cash Jones, who's a senior, and look, God bless Cash Jones. I'm a Cash Jones fan. I sit in the stands sometimes, Jake, and it's just crazy. Fans talk about Mike Bobo, and they talk about Cash Jones. Like, for some reason.
It's awful. It's terrible.
It's crazy. I've never heard anything like it. But Cash Jones had a great game last week, of course.
Yeah.
He caught the onside kick against Texas, which swung the game big time in the fourth quarter. He is a senior. He got asked in the early week press conference, what is this legacy going to be of the senior class? And then he was also asked a little bit more about the onside kick. Here's Cash Jones talking about the legacy that this senior class is leaving behind.
A legacy, shoot. Just a bunch of hardworking individuals. We like to play football. I felt like everybody was tough. We had a great connection. It was just, we had fun whenever we could, and we did a good job at winning a lot of games, and I felt like we did a really good job at doing what we need to do.
Yeah, to go back to the onside kick, like take me to the moment when you find out it's happening. Is it on? What did you know before y'all scored? Was it right after? Like, what was the process like? And like you said, what was the reaction from everybody in the huddle when you're like, okay, we're actually doing this now?
Yeah, Coach Smart came up and was like, hey, we're gonna do it right here. Don't act any different. It's hard not to. You know, you're out there, you're kind of freaking out a little bit, but. It was just luck, honestly. Just Coach Smart called it, and Peyton kicked a great kick, and it was just people helping people out there. Just turned out right.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the onside kick real quick, it is tough to play it cool in that moment. Because after you run off the field, you're getting the call from Kirby Smart, the special teams coordinator, hey, we're going to run it, act normal. He gave proper credit to Peyton Woodring. Again, onside kicks are not the easiest things to do. Peyton executed it at a high level, and Cash came down with the ball. That was an enormous play. I think one that a lot of people will point back to at the end of this season, whenever it is. But talking about the senior class, I mean, he hit the nail on the head. Hey, we like to have fun. Hey, we like to work hard, and we won a lot of games. Nothing is more fun, Jake, than winning football games and winning a hell of a lot of them, which is exactly what the senior class did. And guess what? When you win a lot of football games, you have more fun, and you tend to work harder together. This senior class has done that in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They've worked really hard, and the fruits of their labor have definitely showed up, man. They've won a ton of football games, and, man, I think it would be an awesome thing to do to kind of cap their career off and to put a bow on it, man, to make a good run here into these playoffs. I know that's exactly what the seniors want to do here. Man, I'm really looking forward to a lot of guys possibly getting out on the field and getting to play a little bit, man. And let's feed Cash Jones this game, let him have a big game, and try to put a nice little bow maybe on his career. But they still have, what's crazy is they still have so many games that are possibly left in the season. So it's kind of, you want to get soft and sweet and sentimental, but also at the same time, and you kind of have to be locked in, laser focused on what's ahead, because it's going to be a long December and January.
It's so crazy to think about that. Kirby Smart's talked about it in the weeks prior. Like, if we do what we need to do, we got a lot more football left. Gone are the days of the BCS where you had SEC championship and a bowl game. Like, you have got to make sure that your team's peaking at the right point of the season, which is exactly what this Georgia team seems to be doing. You got to be healthy. You got to maintain your on-field shape, and you have to execute when it comes down to it. I think one of the things, regardless of whatever happens to Georgia, if they play in the SEC championship game, if they don't play in the SEC championship game and they're a top 4 seed and they get almost a month off, they learned the hard way a year ago, kind of starting out flat. Of course, they didn't have Carson Beck against Notre Dame. So they're going to have a lot of things to look back on to keep them very prepared for whatever is thrown at them when the college football playoffs roll around. Here's what Kirby Smart said when asked about how he feels the legacy of this 2025 senior class will be.
Coach Jerleff, how you collectively remember the senior class?
Probably, more about this year, because the majority of this senior class has had an increased role, at least from a leadership perspective, maybe a snap perspective in some guys' cases this year, because there were a lot of seniors last year. And this class has been unique in that this season's been different. They've been part of the new culture, first real senior class that was kind of brought into this group. A couple of them left last year, so Malachi and Michael, they were all part of this class that's gone. But when you look across the board, the fourth-year seniors, they were kind of the first. It was in its infancy, but they were in the NIL stage in phases. So, proud of them, love them like I do the others, and I want to continue for them to grow.
I thought that was a cool perspective. I haven't really thought of it like that, Jake. But yes,
yeah.
NIL has been around since 2021. This is the first class that's really had to deal with all of the outside distractions for their entire college football careers. And, when you do it at a place like Georgia, and Georgia's created the culture that they've established within this new era of college football, it definitely sets the standard, and I think they've done a really good job of that, as Kirby mentioned.
Yeah, man, just like you said, it's a different perspective that I didn't quite think of right out the gate. I think it brings a little bit of value to their legacy that through all the distractions and all the money asking and the leveraging and the transfer portal, man. And, sure, some guys did, but I think it just says and speaks volumes to them, their character, and what they're about, that through all these distractions, man, they stuck through thick and thin, and here we are getting closer to the end of things. But, man, they are geared up for a great run and doing a lot of good things, and have done a lot of good things.
Yeah, they absolutely have, and they've won a lot of games. Again, winning cures all. Simple as that. Winning cures all. If you win football games, guys stick together. If you win football games, not a lot of guys want to transfer. And if you win football games, the NIL value only goes up and to the right. This team has put their hand in the pile, and I think it shows on most Saturdays. Oscar Delp, who's really stepped up, I would say, over the last month or so, Jake. And I think, again, I said it a month or so ago when it happened. When Colby Young got injured and he was out for the season, the tight ends became way more involved in the game plan, and I think it's helped Gunnar Stockton. I think it's helped the run game. Lawson Lucky and Oscar Delp have been performing at an extremely high level. That's fun to see, because I think Georgia fans were clamoring for it early on in the season. It's going to be Oscar Delp's last game in Sanford Stadium, assumingly, unless they host a college football playoff game. Here's what Oscar Delp says this Saturday will mean to him.
Senior day this week for you, Oscar. What are you going to miss the most about playing in Sanford Stadium?
Just being able to put that G on. It's just special. A couple weeks ago just really kind of hit me where coming to an end, at these home games, and just being able to put on the red and black is special. And that fan base we got out there is unreal. Just to be able to have them in your corner is awesome. So I'm going to try to take it all in as I can this weekend. Really not going to hit me probably till after the game, but I'm excited.
Yeah, Oscar, I think this offseason you kind of mentioned maybe looking the wrong places last year and being grounded this year and being where you're at. How have you feel like you've gone about doing that, and how do you feel like it's impacted your level of play, because you're playing good ball right now?
I appreciate it. I was talking about earlier, it's like when you're younger and you're playing football, you don't wake up and, I hope I get all these catches today, I hope I do all this today. You just go out there and play football because you love it. And I think just being a tight end at Georgia, you got to know everything about the offense, and you got to know the offense as a whole. And just knowing that and being able to get out there on the field and get put in any position and just do anything to kind of help execute that play to the best of its ability is a big thing. So I just kind of go out there, and it don't matter what it's called, I'm going to take pride in what I got to do on that play.
Yeah, man, tight end, especially at UGA, as Oscar just said, you got to know everything about the offense. You got to know blocking protection schemes. You got to know how to be involved in the run game. Of course, you got to be involved in the route tree and understanding where to go, sit in zone coverage, how to beat man coverage, be there as a security blanket for your quarterback. So they're asked to do a lot. Some games you're not going to get a lot of targets. Other games you're going to get a bunch more. But, man, Oscar Delp has really stepped up as a leader for this football team and on the offense specifically, Jake.
No, he absolutely has. And I think that's why quarterbacks and tight ends just gravitate towards each other, because from a quarterback perspective, nobody else really sees the game like we do. And I think tight ends are the closest position group that can, right? Because they understand run game, they understand the passing game, and they can kind of remove themselves a little bit and kind of see the bigger picture. Because they have to, be and have a good rapport with the right tackle or the left tackle in the run game. And then also they got to be boys, with the receivers and understand spacing of where they need to be and when they need to be there, right, in these passing concepts. So I think there's always going to be a special relationship between quarterbacks and tight ends. And from a personal level, and then it's even better and even sweeter when you can get them involved, right, in the game plan, in the passing game, and start getting them some balls and get that room some confidence. And right now that group is playing with a ton of confidence, right? Oscar and Lawson are both playing at a high level right now.
No doubt about it. Lawson Lucky, I missed it, but I had some people come up to me at the wedding last weekend. I guess there was a big feature on Lawson and his family. It was a big tearjerker. He's gaining a lot of fans as well, and obviously he's been in the end zone a bunch. Did you see the feature on game day?
I did not. I know. I know enough of the feature, but I just thought it was really sweet, for him to have that feature kind of that morning, and then catch a touchdown, and then kind of circle back to it. Man, I don't know. I thought that was really, really neat and really cool.
How much? I'm just thinking about this now because Oscar was talking about it, and then you just brought it up. Obviously, tight ends motion around a bunch in game. And when you think about the offensive line specifically, oftentimes the left tackle and the left guard are very close. The right tackle and the right guard are very close. They get to know one another. So many things happen pre-snap where they're communicating, whether it's on the road and it's super loud, or they're trying to make checks when the defense is showing some movement and some stuff before the ball is snapped. But Oscar or Lawson, they're going to be with the right tackle or the left tackle a lot. So how much does that kind of relationship have to mature for both of the tackles and the tight ends?
Actually, a lot. It is so funny you asked that question because at the game against Texas, right, that 4th and 1 play, right,
yes.
when they go for it in their own territory, well, Elias Williams goes in there, right, the young big tight end. He goes into the huddle. Monster. Yeah. He goes into the huddle. Well, and he instantly starts communicating with Monroe Freeling. And I'm like, I wonder if this guy didn't get this rep throughout practice.
Wow.
And he's just getting subbed in now.
Wow.
And so Elias and Freeling are having this entire conversation about, hey, what do you do? I'm shifting and motioning, right? If you remember Monroe Freeling, he motions right from the left side to the right side, and Elias has to come down. And so, I mean, that's just a prime example of, right, hey, these guys talk a lot to each other, right, who they're working to in the run game. But, man, even, hey, that's kind of my get out of jail card of, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. I need to figure it out. And there was a lot happening on that particular play. But I just was standing on the sideline and watching it, 4th and 1. I'm like, man, these guys are having a whole dissertation in this huddle. They don't know what's going on, but it ended up working out and executing. It was on the backside. Wasn't a big deal. But, man, just kind of, hey, watch out. And, that's just, your guy, your buddy, your teammate kind of picking you up and helping you out when you need it.
No question about it. That's good stuff right there. Yeah. Wow. I had not thought about that, but appreciate that insight there. That 4th and 1 call, you know how I feel, punt the ball. But Davin Bellamy, our buddy, him and I were going at it after the Alabama game. I'm like, I cannot believe you didn't kick the field goal. How could you not kick the field goal in that moment? And he stood there and said, this is Georgia. You have to go for it. He put out a clip on his team meeting page, which, we promoted last week. Go check it out. And he kind of harkened back to the Alabama game. He's like, this is what you do at Georgia. You impose your will. So Davin doubled down. And of course he got it correct. And it was a fantastic play call by Coach Bobo and great execution by everybody on the field in that 4th and 1.
Yeah, great execution. I think it starts with a good play, and then to conviction by your head man, right, and then conviction by the OC and the QB. So, man, I think Bubba has a ton of trust in Gunnar right now.
Sure.
Kirby does as well. And hey, man, if it's a good play, great. If it's a bad play, Gunnar's not going to take a bad play and make it worse. And he's going to find ways to make stuff happen, especially with his legs and his athleticism. Just gives you a lot of options and a lot of different variety in your play calls.
Absolutely. Speaking of Gunnar Stockton, as you know, this is like the #1 Gunnar Stockton fan club podcast fan page out there. We have been for a while. Kirby Smart was once again asked about Gunnar Stockton and the Heisman Award. And Jake, it kind of seems like he's loosening up a little bit around the fact. Here's what Kirby Smart had to say when he was asked about Gunnar Stockton's Heisman hopes earlier this week.
Based on what Gunner's done in the biggest games, I think the 2 top 10 teams here, 10 total touchdowns, 1 interception. Chris Fowler, Herb Street, they were pretty adamant saying he deserves an invitation to New York for the Heisman. Do you think he's proven himself, done enough to earn that invite?
Yeah, I would defer to you guys and the people that judge that in terms of what that consists of. It's hard for me to lobby for that. What I will say is he embodies everything about that award: resiliency, character, determination. I mean, all those words that embody Heisman Trophy winner. Gunner's got it, and he's done it on the biggest stages in front of the biggest audiences against some of the toughest competition at a really high level. So he's playing well. And he's playing to make the people around him better. And his value to our team is immense.
Yes, it is. I go back to preseason, Jake. Gunnar was kind of handed the keys. There wasn't necessarily a huge quarterback controversy when the season started. And all of those buzzwords were, of course, getting lobbed towards Gunnar. Resilience, determination, leadership, great guy, works hard. And the main question was, well, can he play? And yes, he can. Against top 10 teams this season, Jake, he is 63 for 80 in passing attempts. That is good for a 78.8% completion percentage.
That's good right there, boys.
For 648 yards, 11 total touchdowns, and just 1 interception. Again, that's just against top 10 teams. So the answer is resoundingly yes. Gunnar Stockton can play at a very high level, and oftentimes he does it against the best competition.
Yeah, man, he has just met every expectation. He's met every game and played extremely well in all of these big time matchups, right? I just think in every kind of big time game and big time matchup, man, we see him go toe to toe with a big name guy or a very highly talented recruit there on the other side.
Yeah,
he just simply outplays him, and he does it. He doesn't talk about it. He puts his head down. Man, he gives praise to his teammates, right, and post game stuff. And then he goes right to work the next week. So, man, I think Gunnar is an excellent player, an excellent dude. And I think he's doing all the things right of kind of what it means to be a Georgia quarterback.
No question about it. I saw some people talking about how next week is going to be such a huge legacy matchup between Haynes King and Gunnar Stockton. They both mean so much to their team. It could really swing some things when you're talking about the Heisman Trophy, regardless of how it plays out. But to that, I just say, yes, Haynes King is a phenomenal player. You've been one of the biggest Haynes King proponents all season long, but look at the competition. I mean, just look at the teams that Tech has had to play. Look at the quality of teams that Gunnar has had to play. Haynes King balls out every single week. He has to. He's got no other choice.
Yeah.
Gunnar Stockton has been doing the same as well, but against much better competition. It is just what it is. Like, you can argue with the wall if you don't think that the competition is similar in that regard. So I can't wait to dive into that one next week. Going to be an awesome game. Hey, this episode of Punt and Pass is presented to you by our awesome partners over at PrizePicks. I'm just telling you right now, if you have not gotten on PrizePicks, now is the time to do it. Download the PrizePicks app. Go to prizepicks.com. Follow them on social media at PrizePicks. When you download the app, use the promo code PUNT, and you get an instant $50 after your first 5 entry. Win or lose, it will go straight into your account. They've got player picks. They've got team picks now. They've got culture picks. PrizePicks has it all. It's the best time to be on PrizePicks, especially as the holiday season is getting here in full force. Tell a family member, tell a friend. Download the PrizePicks app, use the promo code PUNT. Instant $50 in your account after you play your first $5 entry. Jared, pull this up. Last week, the DB three-piece smack. Check this out. That's right. I said Horton would get more than 1.5 receptions for Alabama. Yes, he did. I said Gunnar Stockton would have more than a passing touchdown. Of course, he did that. And Oscar Delp went off. He had more than 20.5 receiving yards. That $50 entry paid out $150. PrizePicks is the best. You've got to check out my social media over the weekend. I'll have the DB3 piece. We're doing this episode a little bit earlier in the week, so the board is not full yet, but I'm probably going to get active on those new team picks available in 15 states. PrizePicks is simply the best. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. You get an instant $50 in your account after your first $5 entry, win or lose. On the field, protecting the quarterback is everything. Off the field, Humberto Injury Law protects their clients with that same intensity. If you've been hurt in an accident, they'll step up and defend your rights every time. Head to HumbertoInjuryLaw.com today to see how they can help you, or call them 770-888-8901. Humberto Injury Law is the #1 personal injury and workers' comp attorney in Atlanta, and they're actually in Atlanta, which is what matters most. Humberto is mi amigo. He can be your amigo too. 770-888-8901 or HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. Yeah, earlier this week, the newest rendition of the college football playoff rankings came out. Pretty status quo with the top 3. It did not change. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3. Georgia moves up to 4 as Alabama got knocked off to Oklahoma. Jared, pull up the updated bracket. Here it is, Jake. So you're looking at those 12, 11, 10. 12 is Tulane, is the group of 5. 11 is Miami, which is interesting. 10 is Alabama. They took a big step back after their loss to Oklahoma over the week. But number 9 is Notre Dame. Number 9 is Notre Dame. They have the same record as number 11, Miami. But guess what happened earlier in the season? Miami beat Notre Dame. So this has really gotten into the bullseye of the college football playoff ranking discussion. How on earth could the committee see Notre Dame as 2 clear spots ahead of Miami? And probably what's even bigger here, Jake, is Miami is really on the fringe, because if they make it to the ACC championship and they don't win that game, then they'll have 3 losses. And if they're already at 11, could they get bounced out? This is significant. It is a real conversation to be had. That's the updated bracket right there. Keep in mind, you don't have to be a conference champion to get one of those top 4 seeds that gets you automatically into the quarterfinals. Jared, in speaking about the Miami Notre Dame conversation, Chris the Bear Felica sent out a tweet which really went wild. And here is what the Bear said from Fox Sports. Quote, "If Miami puts together 2 more games like it did on Saturday when they trounced NC State, it would be near impossible to leave a 10-2 Miami team out of the college football playoff in favor of Notre Dame. Why would a team ever schedule a big non-conference opponent if beating it ultimately didn't matter?" I could not agree more with the Bear here, Jake. And when you watch the college football playoff show on Tuesday night, Hunter Yurachek, the committee director, he went on there. And Jake, I started laughing out loud. They said, "How are you comparing Miami and Notre Dame?"
It's so bad.
He was like, "Well, we're comparing their losses. It's tough to compare the 2. Miami's got 2 non-ranked losses. Notre Dame has 2 ranked losses. So we haven't really had the discussion on how we could compare the 2 at the moment." And you sit there and you're like, haven't had an opportunity to compare the 2. Miami beat them.
They played each other.
What is he talking about, Jake?
Dude, they played each other. He's going down the rabbit hole of they don't come from comparable pools and yada, yada, yada. I mean, this is just, it's getting bad when head-to-head doesn't mean anything. And it's all about like the timing of when you lost as well, right? Notre Dame lost those 2 games at the beginning of the year, so there's no kind of recency bias. And you can take Alabama, for example, a 2-loss Alabama and a 2-loss Notre Dame, right? Alabama should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame, right? They have much better wins, have a much better resume. And so, I mean, just kind of look at all these different prime examples and just have a rhyme and a reason, have a formula for why you are ordering and ranking these teams the way you are, because when you just start spitballing, it's because you just like a team better, right? You have to come with some type of ingredient list of hey, why we did what we did.
Okay, so this is why I say that the committee meetings, I don't care how long they are. I don't care if they're 8 hours long. Put them on a live stream. We need to understand what is being said in these meetings, because if the committee chairman is going on ESPN saying, well, we don't really know how to compare the two, which is what he said. You mean to tell me that somebody in that meeting room, after they put their stupid hats on the little hat post before they walk in for the theatrics, you mean to tell me that somebody in that room didn't stand up and be like, I'm sorry, am I an idiot? These teams have already played each other, and Miami beat Notre Dame. What do you mean we cannot compare the two? It just doesn't make sense. And I agree with Chris the Bear Felica. Why would you ever schedule the game if when you beat them head to head, it doesn't matter at the end of it all?
No, it definitely doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know. It just every year we kind of get to this this rabbit hole of, hey, does strength of schedule really matter, or is it just about having the best possible record at the end of the day? So why schedule these big non-conference games? I don't know. I wouldn't do it, especially, in the SEC. We're talking about going to a 9-game SEC schedule. Just don't do it, man. There's no reason to do it and put yourself at risk. You want a chance to get in the dance and get into the playoff. And right now, that's you want to try to find the path of least resistance, and that's just not the way to do it, in my opinion.
No, it's it's absolutely crazy. I cannot believe that he went on national television and actually said that. We don't know how to compare the two. We haven't gotten there yet. Talked about the losses they had. They're like, dude, Miami beat Notre Dame. Like, please remember that happened. That's how you can compare.
The problem with Miami, man, is they're good is really good. They're bad. It's just really bad.
And their defense is good too. I totally agree.
Man, the defense is really good. I mean, they have dudes. There's going to be a lot of guys play on Sunday from that football team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a team that would scare me in the playoff.
Yeah, it'll all play out. But if it happens that way, believe me, that will cause a massive.
What if 2-loss USC beats 1-loss Oregon, and then you have Oregon at 2 losses? And
USC is going to be sitting pretty. I know. Oregon's a tough place to win. We'll get to that game in just a bit. Real quick before we get to the games, any updates on the Lane Kiffin news? Do you believe him at all when he went on Pat McAfee's show earlier this week and said, "What ultimatum? That's not true." I don't know. And again, let's think about Ole Miss. Okay, if they lose to Mississippi State and Lane Kiffin's like, you know what, I'm out, or the ultimatum really does happen, how on earth can the college football playoff committee be like, you know what, they don't have their head coach, they've got 2 losses, let's just let them into the playoff? I think you have to look at the whole picture and be like, no, things have changed big time. Things have changed big time. It's exactly what happened to Florida State when they were undefeated conference champs, lost their quarterback, and the committee said, nope, they're not getting in.
Yeah, that's a great take, man. The precedent has already been set of, hey, if you have a big time quarterback for your team go down, then the committee will look at that. They look at all the factors involved, and that's a pretty big factor. Losing your head coach, especially somebody like Lane, who's so instrumental to that team's success. Yeah. I think they would 100% look at that and give it a reason to not put that team in, especially if some of these at-large teams end up having success, like we mentioned, USC or maybe Vandy or Texas. If they can find a way to beat Texas A&M, you just never know how things are going to shake out.
Okay, so if you had $500 and all of the odds are the same,
okay,
where would you put that $500 on where Lane Kiffin will be coaching next year? Ole Miss, Florida, or LSU?
Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's going to Gainesville?
Yeah.
Why don't you think he would take LSU over Florida?
I think LSU's kind of a culture thing. I don't know. I think Florida is so close. I think they have the dudes there. I think the resources are there as well. I don't know. I think that's just a better job for Lane than I think the LSU is. And I wish I can explain it, a little bit better than I have. I think it just takes a special type of culture, fit, and person to coach at LSU, right? We think about Coach O, right?
Yeah.
Or Coach Saban, right? They just had a heart on that culture down there. BK, Brian Kelly did not fit that to me at all.
Right.
Like, I just
Correct.
Why on earth are they hiring this guy? And obviously it didn't really work out. But I think it takes a special type of coach to coach down there.
All right. I don't disagree with that. However, I'm going to choose Ole Miss. I think he stays.
He stays?
I think he stays. If he hasn't done it by now, I think he stays. And I think Ole Miss will match. And Lane Kiffin seems happy there. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss. All right. We got to go rapid fire on Inside the Five to touch on the biggest games of the weekend. But first things first, what do you have on there? Is that a little windbreaker from Backer?
Yeah, man. It's my Backer jacket, man. It's just it is excellent quality, and so you want to wear it all the time. I love this stuff, man. They make extremely high performance gear. It's got the G on it.
Yes,
Gotta
sir.
love that. So, man, I'm rocking the dogs, and yeah, man, you should go check them out. They make some really good stuff.
The Cool One windbreaker. The weather in Georgia has been up, down, up, down. So when it's 73 degrees on a day like today, throw the Cool One windbreaker on. It actually keeps you cool. Like, it really, really does. Backer.com, BCKR.com, officially licensed Georgia gear. It is awesome, awesome stuff. All right, let's go inside the five. Real quick, rapid fire. Charlotte at number 4, Georgia, 12:45 p.m. kickoff on SEC Network. The Dogs are a 43.5-point favorite. What do you think?
Yeah, this is all dogs. I don't think they cover. This has nothing to do with Charlotte at all. This is just about how they come out, take care of business. I did look up fun fact of like, hey, why is Charlotte the 49ers? It has nothing to do with a gold rush. It just has everything to do with them saving their school from closure back in 1949.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I agree with you. Georgia won't cover, but they'll win comfortably. Hopefully the starters are out late in the second quarter and the Dogs get ready for next week against Tech. Top 25 matchup in the SEC, 22nd ranked Missouri at 8th ranked Oklahoma, noon kick on ABC. Oklahoma, a 7.5-point favorite. Little fallback spot after that big win against Alabama.
Look, this is a must-win spot for Oklahoma. If they want to get in the playoffs, they have to win this game. Just Missouri, just injuries have kind of gotten them a little bit. I think maybe Eli Drinkwitz is starting to look and shop at some of these head coaching spots. Yep. So I think there's a lot of distractions right now in Missouri. Give me Oklahoma and the must-win spot that they're in.
I like Oklahoma, too. You bring up a great point about Eli Drinkwitz, Missouri's head coach. They're also dealing with a lot of injuries. Norman's a tough place to play. I'll take Missouri with the points, but Oklahoma squeaks out a good one. Number 20, Tennessee at Florida, 7:30 p.m. kick on ABC. Tennessee, a 3.5-point favorite. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, man, Florida has been playing some very tough football late, right? Man, they arguably should have beaten Ole Miss. They had them on the ropes. I don't know if they can continue to keep doing this over and over. Tennessee, their playoff hopes are very doubtful. A lot of things have to go their way. But give me Tennessee in this one to beat Florida on the road in this big time matchup.
I like Tennessee as well. They have not won in the Swamp since 2003. That changes this weekend. Give me Tennessee. All right, the Big Ten matchup you mentioned, 15th ranked USC at 7th ranked Oregon, 3:30 p.m. kick on CBS. Oregon, a 9.5-point favorite. I'll just take the points with USC here. Oregon's offense has not been as electric as we've seen in the past, but I think USC keeps it close. Oregon wins by a touchdown, so give me 9.5 with USC.
Yeah, I'm going to, because same thought process, but exact opposite, because Oregon needs it, right? Give me Oregon and the points here on this one. I think they're just due for a very big game. If they want any chance of making a run here in this playoffs, man, they have to be able to turn this ship. Yep. I think there's a lot of pressure right now in that building. Give me Oregon. I think Dante Moore's going to have a big game.
All right, last one very quickly, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Pittsburgh at 16th ranked Georgia Tech. Tech is a 2.5-point favorite. I'll take Georgia Tech.
I think Tech loses this game to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And then they have a little pissed off in their mouth to come and play the Dogs the following week, man, and have a little bit of momentum and a little bit of edge to them. So give me Pittsburgh in this one. I think just tough for Tech. I just don't think they're playing their best football right now.
All right, that's going to be a fun game to watch. Hey, this episode of Punt and Pass has been presented to you by our awesome partners over at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app, use the promo code PUNT, instant $50 in your account after your first $5 entry. And remember, Humberto Injury Law is your first call when accidents happen. Don't wait. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com today. Humberto Injury Law, protecting people, fighting for justice, winning results. That's HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. Follow us on social media at Punt and Pass, at Drew Butler, at From Jake. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Jake, anything on the way out, my man?
No, man, it's gonna be another fun, exciting week. Man, we are I cannot believe it's almost Thanksgiving and we're almost done. But man, it's about to get fired up here later.
Absolutely. All right, have a great weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you on Monday. See ya.
We out.